come, so we should just have food, and then it'll be a restaurant. No, no, dreidels are also usher because it's a religious ceremony. So just if this. No, I don't think in Israel. Israel's not allowed to protest either. No. What is it? Because the tachas of we have to decide. There's enough iced coffees in here that it should be a restaurant. I think we're going. Right? Must see, maybe just bring a kugel every day. I'm sorry. If the police come, it's a yard site. Okay, the police come, it's a yard site. All right. Danny, if you know anything about the police come, please send a message to the chat, and then I'll tell the oilam, and then we'll all run away. Okay, Rabbi Isaac. But so now it's like this. Right? Okay. It's like, or we could just dress up as like 8-year-old girls. Okay. Let me get invited. So is Rabbi Isaac, we have a lot to talk about. Victor, he's been bothering me for the last 24 hours. I'm not sure what I did to him, but for about 24 straight hours, he's been bothering me. You see, no one's safe today, not the police, not Victor. So we have a lot to talk about. Now, first of all, there are about 3 things I mentioned I forgot to talk about in Shiur. So just for 1 minute, I'd like to mention these things. One is what would the oilam say if I asked you misvara? What would you guys say if I asked you misvara? There's no Mishnah Berurah that discusses a certain shaila. It's an extremely negaya shaila. It's not like some strange shaila that doesn't even come up. It's a very negaya shaila. It's a type of a shaila that you for sure expected to be a Mishnah Berurah. And not only that, there's a prima godim about it, and the Chazon Ish like skipped the door of the Mishnah Berurah. It went from the prima godim to the Chazon Ish. It's a very negaya shaila, and there's no Mishnah Berurah about it. I want to know, what would you say from the stima of the Mishnah Berurah to such a shaila? What's a shaila? The shaila is, I have a chicken soup. She's in the fridge on Erev Shabbos. I say, "Oi, I forgot to heat up the chicken soup." Oi, I say it like that. Now it's a cold chicken soup. Okay, you can make it ice if you want. It's not a crazy case. It's a very common case. You have a chicken soup in the freezer. You say, "Oi," okay, and now you take it out, and let's say, okay, so by us or by side, the case by us practically is not going to be so common because most of us have hot plates and most of us have blechs. So therefore, by us, most of us that have a hot plate, and most of us that have a blech. So the Derek Klal, anyways, it's going to be mutter to put on a hot plate, and it's going to be mutter to put on a blech, because everything is mutter on a blech, and everything is mutter on a hot plate, at least for Shiur, kifi what we've been discussing. So, but Akopanim, first of all, the question is negaya for Bnei Brak, which where a hot plate is illegal, right? Or the question could be negaya, you don't have a hot plate, you don't want to plug in a hot plate, you don't want to make the kitchen hot 1 week, so you just decide that you're going to put everything in the oven. Okay, now it's a real shaila, right? You're putting it inside the oven. You realize, Gaval, Erev Shabbos, I don't have chicken soup. If you don't have chicken soup, you think to yourself, who knows? Are there any people that don't have chicken soup on a Friday night? It's 9,000 degrees outside, but you have to have chicken soup on a Friday night. So what's the ma'isa? So you have no choice. You decided you didn't want a hot plate this week because it's 900 degrees. So you want to put it inside the oven, but this is an uncooked liquid. What I mean, it's uncooked liquid. It's totally cooked. But it's a previously cooked liquid, and we know that we pass in yesh bishul acher bishul b'davar lach. So are you allowed to put her inside the oven on Erev Shabbos in an oven where there's no goof of a ketuma, an uncooked, a previously cooked chicken soup? Before I tell you what the great poskim that speak about the shaila say, I would like to know, what do you think misvara? Those watching TV can also offer their opinions, right? What would you think misvara? I just wonder out loud. Is there? I'm sorry, I'll say it in English. Is there an issa shia wegen machshen itztanen? Is there an issa shia on lachshen itztanen? So like a very normal catch. It's like Rabbi said, the word lachshen itztanen gets mentioned in the Mishnah Berurah about 56 times in the simon that we've discussed. Like I explained, it's a feltuch nicht. He could bring it in. It doesn't bother him to say those words, and it's a normal case. It's not a strange case. It's a normal case, a chicken soup. And by us in our world, it's a very normal case. I just told you very case, and there's no Mishnah. I realized, how did I realize that? Why did I forget about the child? I should have spoke about the child probably a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Why did I realize that? Because this is the Ma'aseh Shaya on this Friday night. It wasn't the Geya Mamish because we have because we have a hot plate. So it wasn't Mamish the Geya, right? But my wife forgot to put up the chicken soup, right? And, let's say there wouldn't be a hot plate, right? So would I be allowed to hot plate? So there's anyways no Shiloh, it's Mutagomer. But then I realized we never spoke about the Shiloh. If there wouldn't be a hot plate, what would be the halacha? So what do you guys say? So those, that's one. Yeah, that's right, Fishy. That's grounds for divorce by Hungarian Yidden. That's for sure. Right? But Kapanim. Wait, Rabbi Hirschhoff, I forgot to mention that Rabbi Hirschhoff is a chassid, so I have somebody new to pick on. I forgot. I totally forgot. Did you hear them say Mazel Tov to you? Right? They heard them say, no, I totally forgot. Right? No, and she's normal. No. She has papers and everything. Akapanim, so Akapanim. So what do you say? What do you say? What's the Maisa? What? Steamus Mishnah says what, Rabbi Lieberman? What? The answer is not Mazel Tov, David. What? Aser. I think Rabbi Lieberman's right. I think the stima of the Mishnah Berurah to such a shayla is aser. Why? Let me explain Rabbi Lieberman. Because since the Mishnah Berurah is of the opinion that yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach is a real crime, it's a real felony. Yesh bishul achar bishul is real, it's a deraisa. So really, the Mishnah Berurah firmly believes that when you have chicken soup that isn't cooked, we go like those, which was previously cooked, and now it's cooled down. We go like those Rishonim that hold that when you reheat it up, you're doing bishul again. So then, Rabbi says, Rabbi Lieberman, therefore, yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach should make it that there should be an isra of shehiyah because we look at it and we regard it as if it's not cooked. We regard it as not cooked. That's the chayot Rabbi Lieberman says. I can tell you pum fakir and fakir pumped, right? But I'm still agreed with Rabbi Lieberman. But I could have told you both ways svar is pum fakir, right? I could have told you one svar. I could have told you is maybe everyone will agree here. Bein the shita yesh bishul achar bishul is. B'davar lach is aser, being that which holds its mutter. I could have heard that everybody here holds mutter, or I could have heard everybody here holds aser, right? I could have heard everybody here holds mutter because I already have a chicken soup. It's already be'etzim, a chicken soup which isn't cooked. It's already, it's be'etzim a chicken soup. You know, I mean, it's maybe that's like a Michael ben Drusai. Maybe even though in Hilchis cooking is called cooking, but Rabbi said we pass in Michael ben Drusai and upward is also called cooking. And afal piking, we say that a person's not as sehitzt. He's not going to stoke. When it comes to stokage is totally in his sehitzkeit. It's totally in his nervousness. So besides, he's not going to stoke because he says, okay, what's the worst thing? I'll have cold chicken soup. What's the worst thing? You know, it's nishtek welt. It's not the worst thing in the world. And therefore, even the man Amr that holds yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach, maybe even he'll agree that taka, it's considered already enough that it's not considered a problem of shehiyah. And I could have heard from fakir point. I could have heard that everybody over here is going to hold that it's aser because cold chicken soup is now totally in mitzias. In mitzias, just like if you have water, Rabbi said that's previously cooked. So is there an isra of shehiyah on water? We didn't hear there's not. Right? So then it's a mitzias. Right now, it's totally not in the tsura of the type of water that I want, which is hot water. So a chicken soup, I could have heard the same thing. I could have heard it's totally cold. I could have heard both ways, Bekitzer, but I do agree with Rabbi. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? No, if there's svaras here, klape shehiyah, which have nothing to do with the cooking process. In other words, the assumption of Rabbi Lieberman, which I somewhat agree with from the Steamus Alashin of the Mishnah Berurah, is that let's dan on this product and see if she cooked or not. And then if yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach, then she is not cooked. Right? If ein bishul achar bishul b'davar lach, then she's yes cooked. So says Rabbi Lieberman, the Mishnah Berurah is of the opinion that yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach, so then she is not cooked. If she's not cooked, it's the regular rules of something that's not cooked. So therefore, whatever those rules are, you have to have a blech and whatever. I could have heard the exact opposite. I could have heard it's not totally in bishul. That's we learned many times in Shia. Rabbi said, what's the answer of Shia? That you're going to come to cook? The answer of Shia is that you're going to come to be over Navarro. Right? That's the real chash. You're going to come to stoke and play with the fire. Why do I play with fire? I play with fire when I'm nervous. So what makes me nervous? So we saw making you nervous doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be over on bishul. You know, in other words, Michael ben Drusai isn't a serve bishul from Michael ben Drusai upward, but we're not afraid he's going to monkey with the fire when something is somewhat edible, even though Hilchos bishul would say that it would be bishul to cook it. So therefore I could say maybe the same thing, a cold chicken soup. It's not grounds for divorce, you know. It's maybe separation, but it's not grounds for divorce. It's not like the worst thing in the world, you know. So maybe I could hear that someone's not going to be so sehitz, and it's like a Michael ben Drusai svar. I could have heard the exact opposite. I could have heard, what do you mean? Sorry, if you have water that was cooked and now the water's cold, so then klape the product that I want is a totally unfinished product. So therefore, maybe I will stoke. It shouldn't have anything to do with this Shiloh, but he's right from the steam of the fact that the Mishnah doesn't mention it. It would be mashma that he put it into the category of whatever the din is of yesh bishul achar bishul, which is yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach. The Maisa, halacha l'maisa on this Shiloh, I'm a little bit navaych what to do. The Pri Megadim, In the Eshel of Rabbi Sivkatim Mem Aleph, he seems to be not sure about this. If you look inside the Pri Megadim, I could fool you to say that maybe his suffix is what I'm saying. That's his suffix. Do we say since Seif Yesh Bishul Achar Bishul B'Davar Lach? The Pri Megadim is of the opinion that Yesh Bishul Achar Bishul B'Davar Lach is real. It's a deraisa, and we're machmir like those shitas to believe that once it's cold, it's now Bishul Achar Bishul B'Davar Lach. And therefore, the Pri Megadim fathoms it's sad to say that therefore there would be a problem. It's totally kivyachol uncooked, and therefore there is an issue of groof of a ketubah. That's the one side, and then the Pri Megadim is another side. He doesn't so much enlighten you, but maybe what his side is something like that, like I was saying before. That saif, it's a chicken soup, so it's edible b'shas chak or something like that, etc. Okay, I know there's a difference between chicken soup and water. I'm just giving you the study now. The Pri Megadim says I'm not sure. The Chazain Ish in the 38th Siman in the 27th Ois, he says I'm sure. And if you have a lachshin, it's tanin, says the Chazon Ish, it's mutter. Remember, the world of the Chazon Ish, this is extremely important. There's no such thing as a blech. There's no such thing as a hot plate. I got big problems over there in Bnei Brak these days. There's no hot plate. There's no blech. Right? It's a big bayah. It's a big bayah. So the Chazon Ish is Baruch Hashem. He by chance had another kula over here. It's Mamash Baruch Hashem. It works out, right? Because what? Same again. So Rabbi Cooper says maybe this will be l'shitosai. The Chazon Ish is of the opinion that yesh bishul achar bishul b'davar lach in the first place is just a chumrah. The whole thing is just a chumrah. It's not really an issa deraisa. So therefore says Rabbi Cooper. Therefore he's not nervous. It's hard to understand. You have to be a big lamdan in Bnei Brak. Some of these guys are big lamdan. So he says the guy has a lamdish cup. He says that since yesh bishul achar bishul. I saw a sefer from Bnei Brak that he writes it's l'shitasai. It's like a real lamdisha. That means that this guy, when he sees a chicken soup, which is cooled down, he sees that it's cooked. He's a lamdan, it's like Rabbi Bear's ox, the Shiur of the Rabbi Bear. He sees in front of his face when he sees a chicken soup that's cooked, and it's now cold. He's eating something cooked. He burns himself on it. And when he eats the chicken soup, he burns his mouth on it. Right? And therefore it's gevaldik l'shitasai, because the whole thing is just a chumrah anyways, because really I burn my mouth on it, and therefore I'm not sitzed, and therefore the Chazon Ish is wonderful l'shitasai. B'neinu, it's not the pshat in the Chazon Ish. It's not that. The pshat in the Chazon Ish is the other way. That the pshat is that soif the cold chicken soups is nicht welt, and they bezai. It's like a Michael Ben Drusaidik as far as the Chazon Ish is Mekel. Pri Megadim is Mesupik, the Chazon Ish is Mekel. Is there a makim to be Mekel? Listen, on a hot plate, Zicher. Mamanashach, it's mutter. According to Chazon Ish, it's mutter because of what he holds. According to us, it's mutter because a hot plate is anyways considered for blech. So again, like I said, it's not such a negay shaila. The only case it'll be negay is if you don't have a hot plate, you don't have a blech, and you want to know, can I put it inside the oven? So I could add one of my coolers anyways. If this is your matziv and the Chazon Ish is Mekel, there's no shaila that by the time you hit shkia or by the time you hit 13 minutes or 30 minutes after shkia, so mistama it's going to be hot anyways, and it'll be Michael Ben Drusai, it'll be Yatzel lettuce, and maybe for Yatzel lettuce, we could say a much lower shita, but you get my point that it's not the worst shaila. It's not something. I can't imagine that there's going to be a case where you're not going to have the chicken soup on Friday night based on these types of cheshbaitis. Is that crystal clear? But it's interesting that we never discussed it. Do you find it intriguing, Rabbi? Find it that we never discussed it? I find it very intriguing. That's case number one. Case number two. Yes. So the Shulchan Aruch in Reish is a Ramah. It's the Shulchan Aruch. What is it? Shulchan Aruch. Where's like at the end, right? Sorry. Okay. So Shulchan Aruch in Reish and Daled over here says Perish and Echol and Chayin. He says if you have apples and you want to put apples on a hot plate. Try to get. I'll give you a good recipe if you want to. It's mamish nageh. Sometimes your wife doesn't have time to make kompot and like that. So what do? You just take an apple, you cut it down the middle. I discovered this. You cut the apple down the middle and you put the zachen inside, like jelly and peanut butter and whatever. You put all types of zachen inside and lots of sugar and whatever. And boom, and no one knows. And it's like mamish. It's delicious. And when do you do this? You do this like a few minutes before Shabbos. You just throw it into the oven and there's no blech in the oven. So you're allowed to do this. So the Shulchan Aruch is Mekel, and this is a monumentous psak because even Victor could be Mekel. This is what I mean. Even Victor, Chacham Victor, is from the Damascus region, and over there they held that the food that's Michael Ben Drusai is not enough of a heter. Not enough matter. And over here, the Shulchan Aruch says pears that are apples and whatever, and you want to put them in the oven. So then it's even though they're not going to get fully cooked or whatever, it's okay and whatever. Why is this okay? So the Mishabur explains over here. Mishabur explains. I think Mishabur explains. Somebody explains it's like a Michael Medjusaitik, right? He says, Hacha, since they're eaten raw, Hareyu Kitanchel, it's like it's Michael Ben Drusai, and Yaiser, there's nothing wrong with this. And right, either the Shulchan Aruch is Machmer and Michael Ben Drusai, but over here he's going to agree. Because over here, this type of a Michael Ben Drusai, what's the reason why? You're asking? The idea is that over here, the pshat is that he's zicher not zehitzt. He's zicher not zehitzt, right? These apples, it's totally edible. It's not what he wants. He wants kompot with the whole peanut butter and everything. What? Come again? Oh, so Rabbi, Chacham Victor says, no, Maishna that in water. Maishna that he has to make sure the water's mamish 212 and scalding and everything there of Shabbos and whatever, right? You can't get it just a Michael Ben Yusai. So the answer is, no, because hot water is a different chefza, right? Hot water is a different chefza. Hot water has the ability, when you have a hot tea, it's a different chefza. Okay, and Malasot, that's what state here. Sorry? Yeah, okay. So that's Nagdara. Nagdara is a food, is edible, right? And it's edible as a food. It's gonna, it's gonna taste like a food. It's gonna be here a drink. When I want a hot drink, it's a whole different type of a chefza. That's what you're gonna have to say. Maybe we'll discuss it and explain it more. But Akopanim, I didn't want to talk about this now. But Derech Hagav. So can I take the apples and throw them into the oven? So the answer is yes. A resounding yes. So yes, Chayra Maishna an apple, Maishna the chicken soup. Right? That's what you were asking. I thought you were asking a question. He's saying that you see from there that she and Bishul aren't dependent. It's all totally and it's a hitzkeit. And here you see even that Chayna B'nei Svardim could agree with it. Okay, it's a good right. You see over here, it's not totally in Bishul because if you're sure over on Bishul Deraisa, you take an apple and you cook her on a hot plate on fire on a Shabbos. If you're sure chayiv pieces, no question, right? So Elamai. What's the difference between? But you still not say it because it's totally in Seitzkeit. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that somebody had a mitzvah like this. He wants to have freshly brewed coffee on Shabbos morning. What do you want? Rabbi said American Baltaiva. You can't be without it, right? What do you want, right? He needs to have his freshly brewed coffee on Shabbos morning. And Maisa, it just can't handle. I didn't say who it was, right? I didn't say who. Right, and he can't handle not having his freshly brewed coffee on Shabbos morning, right? My bubbas, they gave up their jobs for Shabbos Kodesh. Okay, say that he has to have freshly brewed coffee. So he wants to know, is there any eitzah, right? Is there any eitzah to have a freshly brewed coffee on a Shabbos morning? No, does anybody have any idea? So I tell you, on the freshly brewed coffee, it's one setting. It's just like turn on and off. It's not like there's two settings. It's not. There's no shamiachata. Okay. There's no dial over here. It's not the Chacham Victor's warming agala. Right? It's just one setting and that's it, right? So he says to me, look, let me just have my freshly brewed coffee. I'll put it on a timer and, it'll go on at, I guess a guy that needs to have a freshly brewed coffee on Shabbos morning, it'll go on at 9:30. It'll go on at 9:30 and, no, Rabbi Greenhouse, 9:30, that's about the wake-up time there. 9:45, sorry. 9:45, and then the freshly brewed coffee will go on, and it'll cook, and it'll freshly, and it'll brew, and then I'll have my coffee, and then it's Kedai the whole Shabbos. All right, and it's Kedai the whole Shabbos. So what do you say? And what did he do wrong? What did he do? Did he do any Yisurim? You can't think of any Yisurim. Is there a Mexican Mavashal over here? He didn't do a Maisa. You didn't do anything. Is there a mechsi if I didn't do a ma'isa? Is there chazar over here? There's no chazar. I didn't do a ma'isa. Right? I admit that maybe is there a mechsi? Kafi, what you know? Is there a mechsi? Right? There's no mechsi. Is there a shamichata? I just told you there's no shamichata. It's a one-setting item. One second. It's the urn of Rabbeinu Agadol, Reb Moshe Feinstein, Zechet Tzadik Levracha. Okay, Moshe had his chumrah that you might come to take out water. I don't know if that's negay over here, even in the brewing. I don't even know if the Metzias is negay. And that's also a chumrah of Reb Moshe, So here, it's the urn of Reb Moshe Feinstein, and it's going on a chaz. It's a geschmack achat. No, Rabbi Zinger, what's that? No, what do you say? Sorry? You're asking. You also. We're getting. No, what do you say? Come again? Interesting. Rabbi Blinder says That's a zilzal in Shabbos. The air conditioning goes on and everyone hears it on. He says, yeah, and the first guy did it, he's in Gehenna. The second guy did it, she's in Gehenna, right? And by now it's a known thing. It's a known thing. But there, it's not a known thing that the coffee goes on. So he says, so once someone sees it going on, there'll be a chash. So he'll have a, so according to you, there's no more timers. There's no more timers. You can't use timers. And the truth is that Rabbi Blinder was Makavin to the greatest Jew that lived in the world in his time period, which is Moshe Feinstein. And in Chelik Daled, where was it? I think. In Chelik Daled, we actually have it here, by the way, where he says that time clocks are also because it's the Zilzal Shabbos. But what should I tell you? Maisa, the Welt didn't take on Moshe. Chelik Daled Simon and that the Welt doesn't take on Moshe. What? Here it doesn't make noise. The coffee doesn't make noise. That's why it doesn't make noise. It makes noise. What? What? The motor. It has a motor. What? With the warming draw. 1 minute, Victor. Okay, calm down. We're getting there. What? No, here, I don't know. Does it have a noise? One second, American Bell Type, does it have a noise? No, I don't know. I don't have one of these things. I don't have one. Does it have a motor or not? Does it have a noise? What? Has a faint noise? Okay. So you know what? If I say, should I be very aggressive? Who wants me to be very aggressive? There's an Isser of Avsha Milsa that Rabbi Blinder brought in. It was a shtickle. It was a shtickle from left field. He's bringing it in, like he hit a ball from left field. But it might be in the base. That means like in the shuffleboard. So, but I could be aggressive because the Ramah says Miu b'makim pseida yesh lahakal. Okay. This person tells me he doesn't look forward to Shabbos anymore. He doesn't look forward to Shabbos because he can't have a freshly brewed coffee. Right? Oh, badminton, sorry. He doesn't look forward to coffee. He doesn't look forward to Shabbos because he can't have a coffee. Right? So let's say that, I don't know. And the Svardim, what do you do, Chacham Victor? The Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring down Avsha Milsa. It's only a Ramah that brings down Avsha Milsa. So, and maybe it was a Syrian Baltaiva. How do you know? Right? How do you know? Right? From Aleppo. How do you know? Right? So, was? Again, that's also maybe you don't hear it outside and whatever. Okay. Why isn't it seen l'chatchila? I didn't do a ma'isa. I didn't do any ma'isa. So I want to tell you an interesting thing. That Rabbi Yitzchak brought down in the Marmakoimis. He brought down a sefer called the Masa Yerushalayim. Masa Yerushalayim. I told him, I called him today, and I didn't know what it was. It's a sefer on the Yerushalmi, and then I looked it up on the Eitzer. And he brings this Mas Yerushalmi, a sefer on the Yerushalmi. And over there, he brings down in the Yerushalmi in Perik Aleph, or Hey Aleph, I'm not sure what that is. He brings down that the Chassam Sefer, listen to this Maisa. Sound familiar? Sounds familiar? Hungarians. They had over there, it's like mamish, unbelievable. They had a string. I don't know if it was the Chassam Sefer himself or in the base measures the Chassam Sefer or something. Kids had the Chassam Sefer, right? And my mechutin say ain't called some sefer. So I asked him to find out for me like what went on over there. What went on? These guys will know this is. He said, you heard of such a thing? And we're going to find out if this is real. But they had. It sounds a little bit like like a cartoon. Whoever doesn't know what that is, it's like a cartoon. So it had like a string. It had like a string. I'm telling you, I read this in the Rabbi brought it. It's in the Mamgud. It had like a string, and on Erev Shabbos, what are you laughing? Because you saw that cartoon. And they would light that string on Erev Shabbos, okay? And then the string would go all the way, and keep on going until it hit on Shabbos morning. Okay, I'm not joking. This is very. And then there were twigs there, and then Take would light. There was like gophers. I don't know. It sounds like stone. And then it lit the gophers, and then it would have freshly brewed coffee. That's what it brings. I'm telling you, it's okay. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. And then he brings that. He says if you do this on Shabbos, you chayiv misa. Why am I telling you that part? Because that means we're talking not about even a previously cooked coffee. We're talking about Pasha cooking the coffee. Now, I don't want you to think that we're talking about like it's like a previously cooked and we're just heating it up or whatever. Mamish, it's cooking, but what? But he did an Erev Shabbos. So he writes over there, he says, what happened to Shem Yechata? What happened to Shem Yechata? That's what he says over there. He says, what happened to Shem Yechata? I don't know. No, he's right. There's a fire. No, there he's right. There I don't understand. We'll see, my case is different. But there he's talking about that the string goes and goes and goes. And there was so what happened on Shabbos when the fire is going to get there underneath the coffee? So what's going to happen? Maybe I'm going to be mechata. I think that there's a ganz fine, just a moment. I got to think there's a ganz fine tzad that he'll be mechata, no? I got to think this guy's fine tzad because he's going to be nervous. So Mali, if, I might say, how could it be worse? On Erev Shabbos, if I would take uncooked food and I would put it by the fire, there's a Shem Yechata. Kal v'chomer on Shabbos itself, there's a Shem Yechata, right? There's a fire. Oh, Elamai, maybe you'll say Kidra Chaisa, but Kidra Chaisa, I don't think that helps you over here. The whole part of Kidra Chaisa is that you're Mesiach from Das. Here, on Shabbos, it's going to be something that maybe needs my help. What? I think this guy's fine. What are you guys watching the cartoon? What do you guys think? I think this guy's fine. What do you guys think? Moshe writes that even though people use timers other times, it's certainly not. Yeah, that's what Moshe, but the belt doesn't take on from Moshe. Okay. Cartoon sounds like a bacher. What's a bacher? Akapanim is Rabbi saying, I don't fully understand. The oilam is tightening something which I had at tzaddik, I don't understand it. They're saying like, no, he puts it out of his mind because it's gonna, by the time, what do you mean? By the time it gets there, it might need some help. Right? Sorry? No, but it doesn't get to the food until that time. Once it gets to the food, it's game over. Okay, and then once it gets there, no, and then when he gets there, it'll be raw food and fire. Rabbi Singer, there'll be raw food and fire. That's a chashash. I don't understand. I don't understand. No. By the time it comes, the fire will be there. It'll be cooked. No, because the fire, that's the whole point. Tonight, it won't help. What shaykh is? Tonight, you should be arrested. Tonight, you both should be arrested. You're with me? You're with me. You're against it. So you should be arrested, right? Tonight, it won't help for him to stop. It's unnecessary. No, sorry. For tonight, it won't help for him to stop. And for tomorrow morning, it'll be done. Here, it's no shaykhis. Here, tonight, it's grada, you're right, it won't help. Tomorrow morning, it won't be done. Tomorrow morning, when I want my coffee, it won't be done. Because it takes 20 minutes, and there'll be a point where it's a raw coffee. For those 20 minutes, I'll go and do it. What shaykhis? I don't see what he's saying. Of course it's a problem. Of course it's a problem. He even says it, to say for Masi Yushalmi. I don't know. So, I thought Rabbi Yisrael said maybe there was a blech there, like that. Wait, Rabbi said. But let's go back to our case. Don't forget the Chasam Sofer. But Akapanim, forget the case of the Chasam Sofer. Akapanim, in my case, the only thing I'm clearing is Shem Yechata, right? But if there be no Shem Yechata, so then like Yehudim. Like Yehudim is a coffee, right? You can have coffee, right? You can have coffee. So in my case, there's no Shem Yechata because it's a one-time setting on a. I don't know why this should be aser. I don't know. So I looked around, and then the Chazanish. Yitzchak brought this in the Chazanish in the 38th Siman. He says it's aser. He says it's aser, and you can't do it. And anyway, I don't know why. I don't understand it. I don't know. And one thing for sure, there's no shayla in the world that you should be able to put on, let's say, a hot plate, or what would be a case? What would be a case? You have a case? No, because a crack pot with a blech. You mean a crack pot with a blech? What will be the case though? What? A George Foreman. That seems to really matter. But yeah, what's the issue of the George Foreman? It's a one setting. Oh my goodness, this sounds like a fail. What? He's saying the no, it's not Foreman, it's the other guy. What? Tyson, no, what is it? Foreman? It's not a Foreman? I'm not sure if he's right. No, he's English, I'm saying. I'm right, no? I'm right or he's right? Foreman, he's right. He's right or not? Am I right or not? I'm right. Okay, I knew I was right. So the Tyson, right, has a one setting on it. This is unbelievable. No, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'll have chicken on Friday night. It'll go on. It sounds crazy, no? It just sounds mishugah. I'll be able to have a chicken on a Friday night. It'll go on. I'll put a timer on. It's true. It's true. Rabbi Slansky says, Rabbi Moshe said, I'll let you use timers for lights and whatever. Okay, and definitely Rabbi Moshe would hold the tasa, but the Welt doesn't take on Rabbi Moshe's chumrah when it comes to Shabbos clocks, which I tell you, I don't know. I grad machmir like Rabbi Moshe because Rabbi Moshe was Rabbi Moshe, but the Welt doesn't take on like this. So, and it makes noise, this Tyson, or it doesn't make noise? So I don't know. So you don't even have Asher Milsa. No, it's unbelievable. It comes out that I don't know any reason why it should be elsewhere. It doesn't sound very religious, but I don't know. I mean, it's a light plug. I mean, we have our light plug, but. It's no different than an urn. I'm saying it's no different than an urn. What is that? Sounds a bit mad. No? It sounds like it's no shemich. I have like stamakasha. I have stamakasha. Everybody say I have stamakasha. I'm going to make up my own chash. But there's no shema yichata, but there's certainly a shema yafoik, a shema flip, right?
Well, no, it's both sides. Both sides.
Kitta, this is before Holyfield bit off his ear. I mean, I understand what's going on here now. You mean his mamish on both sides, gevelach, the whole thing, and ganzen, the there. I don't know. Top and bottom. Thank you, Rabbi Rosenberg. We were privy to that information already. Okay? I don't know. It can't be mutter. I don't know, like that. I'll tell you two things. Everybody say, Tachlis, one thing I don't understand is the Chazon Ish wants to be machmir even on let's say, like a blech, or like what we call a hot plate, let's say. I don't see why. Basically, Rabbi Zinger, if you have a chalent, and what would be a case? And you want the chalent, you have a fully cooked chalent, right? It's not going to be a gag because it'll go off if you just leave it out overnight and whatever, right? But if you take a chalent, which is fully cooked, and just put it on a hot plate, and then Shabbos morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, it goes on, you can't put it there and then the hot plate will go on. That we'll see in Mitzvah Shem, we'll learn. That is the problem. You're not allowed to put something into a place of where it's going to get cooked. Because that's called, just one moment, that might be called your Maisa. But here, if I did it on Erev Shabbos, that's what we're talking about only. Derech Hagav. We're talking about I did Erev Shabbos. So let's say, I don't know if you can have a case, but if you have a case. What? It's a cold Friday night, okay? I don't know, why does he care so much about hot plate, but it's a cold Friday night, and he could leave the chalent on the hot plate, and the hot plate is going to go on a timer on Shabbos morning, and there, I mamish see no isser. There's no Maisa, there's no Shamiachat, it's a hot plate. Obviously, we're talking about dials. I don't see any isser. But the child is, if you're going to be mad to this, then you're going to mad to the case of the coffee. You're going to mad to this Vander, whatever you call it thing, right? I don't know. That sounds to me a big chiddush, and I have to think about it. Does anybody want to offer an opinion or no? I don't know. Rabbi Slansky, what do you want to? He's asking a question. What's the question? What's the question? New coffee machines all have. No, it's the thing there is blocking. I can't see. Oh, they all have timers. All have settings. What does it mean? What does it mean that they all have settings? What does it mean? Oh, you mean settings that you can have the degrees and everything? Higher, lower? What kind of settings? What kind of settings? You're not you guys all have settings, so I have to be very careful. They have settings, cup size, brew strength, monkeys. Brew strength, cup size, not the Israeli coffee machine. I see a lot of stuff going on here. The bananas? What are you talking about? I don't know. All right. Going to play with them. I don't know. I don't know. These guys are interesting. I don't know. Tachlis. I'm not saying it's mutter because it's anyway something to see to be a chiddush. So you have to, you have to be misyashiv. And number two is they're telling me that you have monkeys and bananas and gorillas and all these different settings and everything. I don't know what. So I have Moira, and I don't know. And you're telling me that this Tyson doesn't have any setting? What? How can it not have a setting to be higher and lower? What? You got a broken one. Well, it doesn't have any setting. You're right. The cheese toaster I have also doesn't. No, he's right. Yeah. What? Cheese for Shabbos morning? Cheese? No, but Goyim eat milk. Okay. Okay, let's go weiter. I'm getting annoyed. Now, if I say, one more thing, because Victor's all belighted over here. The warming agala. What? No, you won't close. Why close? No, you can't close it. No, chas v'chalila. Rabbi say, there's no child in the world that you can't open her and close her, because then you're causing it to cook. Chas v'chalila. That's an Issachar. You're never allowed to put something into a position where it's going to cook. I'm talking, you did everything. It's a very weird case, Rabbi say. It's just somebody who wants to show off in Hilchos Shabbos. So don't do it yet, because I'm not sure. Right? But it's a weird guy. It's that interesting guy who wants to make a chicken and on Shabbos morning and have a, well, it's you have a piece of a chicken that's sitting out the whole night inside this oversized boxer, man, and you know what I mean, like by the morning, what? I could have a Friday night. So Rabbi Irwin says, he says, what do you mean? What do you mean? I made it early Shabbos. And I'm not just sufficing with whatever. It's made early Shabbos now, 10:30 at night. I want to have a barbecue. So I'll put it inside this. It sounds like crazy. Okay, let me be misyashiv with this. I don't know. I feel like it's a chiddush. Let's be misyashiv. Okay. Now, Rabbi say, let me get to the game like that. Rabbi said one more thing here with this warming draw. So it's like this. There's a major issue. First of all, I made a mistake yesterday. It's okay. I didn't feel, I had to send out a message about it, because you'll see it's not the worst mistake. But I made a mistake in the Metzias. I said yesterday that a warming drawer with dials is usher to leave food on Erev Shabbos. It's not really usher. It's not so practical, right? For Chacham Victor, it's usher. Right? For everybody else, it's not usher. Meaning for Chacham Victor, it's going to be usher, because for the Svardim that are machmir, like the sheet of the Shulchan Aruch, that if something is mitztamik v'yafalai, so then you have a chashash of shem yichateh. So for him, it's a problem. For the rest of us, there's nobody putting anything into a warming agala, which is not Michael Ben Drusayich. I mean, anybody putting things into the warming drawer, it's got to be already cooked, or at least 80% cooked, 90% cooked, probably 100% cooked anyways. So therefore, it's not again. I said the word usher. I take that back legamrei, and therefore, of course, not usher. It's not usher, because even there's no shash of Hashem Yechateh for Bnei Ashkenazim of Michael Ben Drusayich. The only question is there going to be a chumrah of the Mishnah Berurah that right, that the Mishnah Berurah has got a ganze chumrah against the budget of the Paiskim to tell you that you should be machmir on something because it becomes mistamik b'yafalai. So I don't know if I fight on a warming drawer that I'm not even like 1,000,000% sure that it goes into the Gzeres Chazal. So okay, I could hear it. I could hear that it's not kedai. What? Just one moment with a memento. If inside the warming drawer you have things that are mitzvamik v'raloi, which gives me another reason not to, which I said is a chiddush, and because you don't probably say it on two separate foods. I'm making this chiddush up. But if I say vayt to tell a person that he has to be machmer on his warming drawer. Now again, before I continue, I don't know the mitzvahs in these warming drawers, if there's lights that go on, if there's circuits that go on, if there's certain hechsherim that are telling you it's mutter and it's mamish, some of them are basar gomer. I'm not getting involved in that type of shaila, and Shabbos modes, which are machal Shabbos modes according to mamish the zicher pashit, no shaila. I'm not getting involved. I'm talking about the ones that are extremely primitive, and they just should have a regular heating and it happens to be in a drawer. That's the ones that I'm talking about, not the ones that turn on lights afterwards, not the ones that shave for you. I'm talking about the ones that are the simple ones. Now, what's the din legabe shia? If there's no dials, there's no shaila. If there is dials, so then I'm telling you now that the only person has a problem is Chacham Victor, right? He's the only one that has a problem, and the rest of us would not have a problem medina, but maybe a chumrah, and copy the chumrah. There's the svaras that we spoke about. You got different svaras that we spoke about. The heating element you don't see. You got the svaras of the marshan. You got not the worst affair. You don't have to tell your shvigar, and even a Sfardi shvigar, right? You don't have to tell her either, because I told you the Sfardim are also makel over here. So like for shehiyah, says nisht ek felt. Rabbi Samuel, what's the I was, yeah. He's right. Whatever he said, thank you. Basically, what I just said is the oven shtick. He's right. That's even better. Because why?
You don't bake it. You don't bake it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm asking. Kitzer, for Shiur, I take it back. It's mutter, it's mutter. For Shiur, it's mutter. In the case that we're going to be using it, it's mutter when it comes to Shiur. I am chayzer. I said, I'm chayzer. For Shiur, it's mutter. However, there's a big problem. It's a big problem. So I'm not going to tell you to Mishpachat Spire over here and Victor over here. They sent me all these pictures of different warming agalas. But actually, I saw something very interesting. Rabbi Spira sent me a warming drawer, and it's like an interesting drawer. You open it up, it's like that drawer underneath that has the garbage in it, And you open it up like this, and then you can take out, let's say you had inside there, what do you have there? Like the challah. You have the challah. So you take out the challah, and then what do you do? And then you close it, right? Ooh. Ooh. What did I say? You open up the drawer, you take out the drawer, and then you take out the chal. Ooh. So now what happens when you push back the drawer? You just put something into a fire. Inside there is the heating element. I never envisioned it like this. I always thought that the fire this is the primitive ones from the Haim, for some Gahat in the Haim. The Haim from Gahat, the heating element was like a crock pot in a drawer, basically. Like when it came, there was an element in the metal on the drawer. You took it out, so the heating element was there. But now I see it's not like that. And then in the Heintiket site, you pull it out. The heating element is inside there, inside the balagolo over there, inside the cabinet, right? And you take out a cupboard or whatever trolley, and then right now she's out legamre. She's out legamre. She's on a tray, just sitting out there legamre. And now you push her back into an oven. Ooh, you push it back into an oven. There you go. Push it into an oven. So now we have to get involved in a new shiloh. All right. Now you got a real shiloh of Machzik and Mavashal over here. Why are you going to tell me that people don't cook there? Okay. But first of all, we saw one of the reasons is Taka Shemi Chata. On Shabbos is, Shiur, the Shiur brings down a Shemi Chata. And now you're getting into like dangerous waters over here. To take something out and to push it back is a little bit scary. You're pushing it back to where there is a fire, which a maskim is not a fire that people cook on, but it's a little bit scary. It's a fire that you could stoke. A maskim, it only gets up to about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't get so hot. What? Or 200 Fahrenheit. Like it gets between like 70 and 100, basically. Let me give or take a number, but it gets between like 75 and 95, something like that, right? Of Celsius, and basically between 150 to 200, something like that. Those are the numbers, right? So like it's a little bit scary to go and say now Svaras like you can't cook in there. I hear, by side, you also can't cook, or it's not normal to cook on Gruf of Ketuma. The last time I checked, right? It's not normal to cook, but there's so in group of Ketuma, you can't do Nesin L'Chatchila, but we allow you to do. So now, is someone going to be strong enough to tell me that the inside of a warming drawer is mamish gar fikatim? I don't know. Does anybody know the answer? I don't know if it's gar fikatim. I don't know if it's gar fikatim. I mean, you could be mechat. It has a dial. I'm talking about the ones with a dial. If it doesn't have a dial, then what I'm saying doesn't apply. Okay, then it would be mutter. If it doesn't have a dial, then of course it would be mutter. Then you have to deal with Rabbi Samuel's hatmana issues or whatever. Other issues, but when it comes to a warming drawer that has no dials, it has dials. I don't know. Does anybody want to take full of Christ and say that it's a fire that you can stoke, but it's a fire that you stoke that people don't cook on? So I'm a little bit nervous. There's a reason the Sharatziim brings this Rabbeinu Tam. I'm a little bit scared. What? What's the hell? Oh, disable. I don't know. These things don't go so well over here in Cal's land. I mean, disabling dials and covering dials and whatever. I don't know. I press one button or whatever. I don't know. Right? It's like the same way that's the same difference between like, if you have a filter on this, on the computer, or you have, the number, somehow the kid gets through the number, but the filter, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't go so well over here. If you get a filter, we'll talk. You know what I mean? You get like one of these filters on your smart drawer. So I don't know. I'm not so into it. But anyways, so I don't know. So now the Maisa, there's a shmua from the Chazain Ish. The Chazain Ish had a very big problem, Rabbi Isai. A hot plate is not verblecht. A blech is not a blech. Nothing's a blech. Okay? So I can make the food Michael Ben Drusai, but how am I going to get my chalent and do chazara? So the Chazain Ish wasn't so concerned. He told you could scoop right out. once it's fully cooked, obviously, but it's fully cooked, then you can scoop out, then you don't have to be so machmir. You don't have to be so machmir, right? But the Chazon Ish also knew that there's an El Yerab, but not like that in the Shiur like that. So they say a shmua from the Chazon Ish, that the Chazon Ish said, well, if you take the cholent, and this is the cholent, okay? And this is the hot plate. This is the hot plate, or the fire, that according to Chazon Ish, it's all the same thing, right? Everyone sees? The camera sees too? I think so. So this is the hot plate. So the Chazon Ish, they say in Nusach that the Chazon Ish tells you can go like this. You can go like this. You're still on the fire. Everyone sees what I'm doing? Everyone sees? I'm still on the fire, right? I'm still on the fire. But I'm not on the fire enough that it serves as a problem of Hagasa. So Chedushim, and therefore you could spoon it out. Chedushim, I guess. It's a Chiddush. Why is it Manashach? Is it if you believe in Hagasa? I'm talking obviously where it's fully cooked. But if you believe in Hagasa, why? I don't know. They say in Nosech, the Maisa, Reb Nissen is brought down in different places. In one place, Reb Nissen seems to say that Taka, the Chazon Ish didn't actually paskin like this, or he was chayzer on this. He didn't actually, and they bring that seems to be it's inter mishpacha strife. Reb Chaim Kanievsky, he says, yeah, the Chazon Ish was makel like this. He was makel like this. I know if you like tilted up and you're still like connected to the fire, so then you could do chazara because not called chazara, like a hemshich of the bishul. So maybe somebody aggressive will say, okay, so if I take the drawer and I pull it out, then the drawer is still attached, so that's not called the chazara. Leave it partially in, that's for sure, Mistama. If you leave it partially in, no, let me explain what I don't fully understand with the Chazon Ish. I mean, if it's sticking up, I don't know, I agree that wouldn't be called the problem of chazara. That I don't have a tzad that's a problem. Let me explain what I'm not being clear. Basically, if it's on the fire, even if there's a leg on the fire, there's a toe on the fire, an ear on the fire, an edge on the fire, I'm okay with that. I don't see that as a mice of removal from the fire. I can hear that. That I can hear. I don't understand why it's not a problem of Agasa. That's what I don't understand. So now let's apply that concept and pull out the warming drawer. When I pull her out, so then that's the part that I don't understand. Meaning, if you pull it out the gamre and you got like a toe on still, is that it could be used the Chazon Ish here? I don't know. It's a piece of metal. Metal what? What? You're hungry. You're hungry. You can tell that's far as coming because you want cholent. You know what I mean? Would you matter an Ashes Ish with that, Ahmed? I don't know. No, it's like a little bit scary that. I don't know. I don't know. What? No. That's as far I'm coming to discuss that. Maybe you could say it's still attached and it has it has wheels that block it. I don't know. The Paiskim all say that example I always gave, when you take the food out of the oven, they all say leave it like partially in the oven. It's like one of these gears that the Ankises that I have. I didn't see anyone first say it, but that's like, you got to leave it somewhat in the oven. And Rabbi say, what I would tell a person is there any way to just not pull out the oven and just take the stuff? Or no, you have to pull it out because you can't get your arms in there, right? That's not practical. You can't get the arms in there, whatever. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about that. The only way to be makel is number one, you say maybe this type of a svara that, okay, maybe halfway. It's a little bit scary. You take it out halfway, the thing you want is the thing on the inside, right? So then the thing on the outside is the potato kugel. There's a potato kugel here, right? And he's not in the airspace of the fire. I guess you have to tell the shviger on Erev Shabbos, you have to tell the shviger, make sure that the chal is in the front, and make sure the potato kugel, she's in the back, and make sure you leave the potato kugel still within the walls of the whatever, that you didn't do a ma'aseh chazara, that's what you have to try and explain this to a shviger. No, it doesn't say that on the instructions of what you have to do, Good luck. So I don't know. You have to whatever. That's one thing I am worried about. That's one thing I'm worried about. That's one thing I'm worried about. Excuse me, what? What did Rafal tell us in the sukkah? We were in the sukkah, right? We talked to Rafal about this many years. Anybody remember? What? No, not that. That was after a long time of being in the sukkah. It was like it was getting late. I don't like that. No, but it was something that he said about when you take the fire, when you take the pot, and you like. He said a similar type of thing. He didn't say like picking it up in the air because that's already extreme. But He said something. I don't remember. Okay, Akapanim, is it crystal clear? We can go right. We are now finished. Shiur. That's it. Now we can start Chazar. Okay? Okay, good. Let me get. Is Rabbi say, hey, Rabbi say, how many Tnayim do we have for Chazara? How many Chazara Tnayim? We have to make sure it's fully cooked, but that's not a Tnai in Chazara. It's not fully cooked, or if it's a liquid, then that's called not cooked. So that's one Tnai. It's got to be Mavushal Kol Tzorcha. It could be Mitztamik V'Yafalai, right? But that doesn't bother me, but it has to be Mavushal. And then we had the Tnai of a blech. And if it doesn't have a blech, that's very bad. If it doesn't have a blech and you do Chazar, what's a good example of when it doesn't have a blech and you do Chazar? We just had an example. Right? That's our example. A potato kugel that you pull out of the drawer, and then you push it back in, it doesn't have a blech. So that's pretty serious. Don't put silver foil. Don't put silver foil. I'm not, okay, what's another example? You know, blech. We talked about the whole time about the crack pot. Another example is where's another example that you don't have a blech and you put it back? When you're taking water from the earth and you're pouring it into the crack pot, and the crack pot doesn't have a blech. That's a great example, right? And then that chalent l'chayr is not kosher now, because you could do chazara, oida b'yadai, and das, and whatever. So that's the first two tonight. Second tonight is that it has to be fablecht, okay, or a crack, or a hot plate, or something like that. Okay. The third and fourth tonight. That's what we're up to. The third and fourth tonight. So the third and fourth tonight over here are that it has to be, the Shulchan Aruch says over here in Reish and Gimel Sif Beis, it's got to be a kira, she grufa, v'ketuma, it's got to be blecht. V'nantal k'ter maleh afid b'shabbos mutter lechzira, kol zman jehi roy sachas. It's got to be hot. Okay, that maybe the Mishnah Berurah says it means it just has to be fully cooked. It's got to be fully cooked, right? Or maybe it means it's got to be hot. What if you have a schnitzel that you took off and it was mamish, it just, let's say you have a challah, you took off a challah. That's a pretty normal case. You put the challah on let's say, on the hot plate, and how's it not going to burn? So you put it on the part of the hot plate, was maybe not so important, because you put it on the hot plate, and Erev Shabbos, you put it there, and then you take it off, right? You take it off, and you make kamaitzi, and then after you make kamaitzi, you say, no, let's put it back on. You put it back on. But by this point, it's already cold. But it's previously cold. And you had das, and your hand was on it, let's say, You're holding it the whole time, It's a weird case. And but let's say it would be cold. What would be the din if it's cold? We say that's itself, the Mogen Avram has, it's not such a common case. That's why I'm not going to be so ma'arich on it. The Mogen Avram has it's not to say that taka, maybe it's got to be hot still. Because what's the lumdus of chazara? The lumdus of chazara, these tnayim of chazara are all mersi, dika tnayim, that it looks like he's cooking. So if it's got to have a blech because of whatever we dealt with, and it's got to, we'll see soon, have the das to put back and oida b'yada and all that business. But now there's another thing. Maybe it's got to be warm still, otherwise it doesn't look like a hemshich. It doesn't look like it's what's the whole idea of the machzi? To make it look like it's coming off of a previous connection to the fire. You're not coming from nowhere, right? It's a chazara. It's a chazara. It's got to be coming from a fire, right? I'll give you an example. You take water from a thermos, and boiling hot water in a thermos, you made a thermos on Erev Shabbos just so you should have water, and now you see your cholent is burning out, and you want to take the water out of it's hot water and everything, and you want to take the water out of the urn, and you want to put it you have like a thermos, a regular thermos, not an electric thermos. You want to take it and put it in the cholent. What's it missing? It's missing the aleph base, not chazara. It's not chazara. It's not coming from a fire. It's missing the aleph base. It's not a t'nai in chazara. It's the aleph base. You're missing. I guess you can call that oida b'yada. It's not. It's the aleph base. You're missing that. It's not coming from a fire. It's not coming from fire. I guess it's not cold in your hand. So here too, if it's cold, you can't say it's a hemshich. We'll see if that's such a pashut it's not. Others learn with sachas just means that it's you have a problem with bishul. But then says the Rama, the oidai b'yadai v'layaniach al gabe karka v'daita lachs, and the Rama keeps adding his 2 cents. Keeps adding. So what do you need? These are the next two tonight. In order to do chazara, it needs to be b'yadai. Sorry, it has to be by das, is I'm putting it back, and it has to be that I'm holding it. Well, to see what that means, and I'm going to plan on putting it back onto the covered fire, or whatever it is. Now the Maisa, granted, this should be a raya. I told you these tnayim are clearly out mechsi. They're not shami echata. The tnayim of das and the tnayim of holding it and putting it back, they're clearly out mechsi, because you have to show that it's a hemshich of the original cooking process, and he's not doing a new cooking process. So Maisa, you can ask a shaila. This should be a raya to klape the shayla, what we spoke about. What's the mechsi? Remember we said yesterday, what's the mechsi? Is the mechsi that people can see and they'll learn from me, and they'll make mistakes? Or is the mechsi that I'm going to make a mistake, So here, the chayra, no one can know what's in my mind except for the Heilig Bashefer. So you see from here that the das, you need to have positive das, the chayra, that you're returning it to the fire. And therefore, if there's a t'nai that you need to have das, that you're returning it to the fire, the only one that could possibly know that is me. So then you see that the whole idea, at least one of the ideas of the mechsi, is that it's important for you also. Maybe there could be nafkaminas. But the mechsi is that I myself, I'm going to think that I could cook on Shabbos. Why am I going to think? Because you see that I did something that I didn't plan on putting back. So then I'll also come to cook up a potato on Shabbos. That's the idea. Now, the Shulchan Aruch says karka, once you put it on karka, that's already considered a siluk. That's considered a whole new cooking process, right? And then he's going to make the mistake. So even though it's fully cooked and it's going to a blech and it's hot and everything, but if you put it on karka is a makim where it's spaltz and it's no longer connected to the original cooking process. And that's it. So you'll come to make this mistake. What's the example of karka? Does anybody put pots on the floor today? So he's that one guy. So don't be the one that raises his hand, everybody say. All right? Be careful, Rabbi Plotsker. What? Buzz? Caterers put it on the floor? Yeah. Okay. Say maybe. What's a karka by us? Fridge. Rabbi Zinger says a karka by us is a fridge. The karka by us is a fridge like that. That's the one thing that shows it's the cooking process is over. What's the din of a countertop? We'll have to see. But that's the shaila. What's the din of? But that's what karka is. And then the Rama brings down over here. He talks about this mita and these mitas and safsels, all these interesting things over here. Well, they used to have these interesting mitas and safsels. What are these interesting things? What are these mitas and safsels? Because in those days, they didn't have counters and whatever, right? But a mita is zicher. Is it going to remain on a mita? It's not going to remain on a mita and a safsel because it's something I'm going to use to sit on. So it's certainly a temporary situation. So we have karka, which is the end, and then we have mitas, which isn't going to remain over there. Countertop is not exactly like that, right? A countertop could remain there for a very long time. The countertop could be going back, and whatever. We have to see exactly what are all these things, right? And like I said, these tnayim are clearly out to the mechsi and the ma'isa. So it's very late. What happened over here? Oh no, it's not so late. That clock is off. We have a few minutes. 1 second. So it's like this. What should I talk about? 1 second. All right, so it's like this. It's like this. So tachlis, let's speak out one case. So now, I want to have cholent on Friday night. I have a blech. I have a crackpot with a hot plate, whatever. I'm okay. I don't have a blech issue. I'll have das to put it back. I'm going to put it back. I certainly want to put it for tomorrow. But what about oida biyadai? So how are you going to do oida biyadai? So you have a cholent pot. Cholent pot's big. So how do you take the cholent pot? Cholent pot's big. Cholent pot's heavy. Cholent pot's hot. Right? Big, heavy, and hot. That's very, very. So what can I do? So I want to. What am I going to do? I'm going to hold it in one arm like this and scoop it out with the other arm. And it's going to be 3rd-degree burns. Move by second. What? No, that would be for sure good. It's only to be in das lachs. I'm saying, but not everybody's able to do that. Elamai, so he's going to wake up his wife. Wait, okay, but he has an eight already. He says, let's lean it on someone. Let's do it. I'm saying, I'm a simple Jew. I read Shulchan Aruch. It's the way to be other. I want to know what's lechatchila, and then afterward I'll have my child. I'm not talking b'diavad. I want to know, give me the most lechatchila. I want my child. Don't you understand? When you eat a cholent, right, and you did it with all the chumras, and it's a much more heilig cholent. It's much more heilig cholent. And then when you eat that cholent, it's a whole different experience. Well, but the Aruch HaShulchan says, and the Aruch HaShulchan says in Beishut and Tess, Cotton Tess, where was it? And he says, Yisrael Ketoshimim, and they do all the chumras. And Taka it says, Hamach B'Tovla Bracha. So I want my children to have bracha, right? What Rabbi say? You ever wonder why sometimes you spend too much time in the bathroom? Yeah. So maybe your children to Mishkat bracha. Tzaddikim don't. Right? I don't know why you're laughing. Tzaddikim don't. Right? So why? Because they do it all the chumras. So I want to know, is there even a chumrah? So what I do? So let's say a fellow says, okay, so I'll wake up my wife. And she'll hold it and I'll scoop or something like that or whatever. Okay, first of all, I don't know, is it warrant waking up her? But let's say she's awake. So wakes up Gavaldik, she'll hold, just go. And what if she's a Nida? So what are you going to do? Knock on the door and ask your neighbor's wife to come? It's weird. It's a weird thing, right? So what do you do? And the nida is a problem of our chaka. You can't take something out of her bag. That's a problem. You think you have bracha, you know, if you take a cholent and you're over on a chakas or whatever, that's not enough, right? So what do you do? What do you do? So Maisa now, Rabbi Zinger, now we have to start. But l'chatchila, that's what you do. You're not going to Rabbi Zinger's door and you say, come help me, I need you to take out the cholent and whatever. You know. But now what else? So now if you take it and you put it on the countertop like this, you know, boyfriend, that it would theoretically fall off. Okay, so for shteitzach, that's called like you're holding it up. But I gave this eitzah, and someone told me, Lamaisa, he knows for sure that he was yaitse. Why? Because it fell. He said it was slippery. As he told me, he said it was slippery on the counter. So since then, I felt bad. Smashed the crock pot into 1,000 pieces, whatever. Right? No, it becomes a boiler now and everything. Like how you can have the child. So I'm not so fond of that eitzah. So now we have to know: can I take the challah pot, put it on the countertop, and just start scooping? And start scooping, and maybe hold it. Does it really mean anything if I'm just touching it on one side? And so we have to see. So I guess it's late. And how late is it? I don't know what happened over here. It got so late. We didn't do anything here today. All right. So tomorrow we'll learn a little bit more. What happened over here? No? I don't know. Okay. All right. Didn't do anything today. No? What happened over here? What? Rabbi Siegel? I don't think we ever did less ever. Nothing, no? No. I remember Rabbi Strom. I don't remember ever doing this little. Meisner.